Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sean from All Things EV, and this video is all about why I think the Rivian / GM / Amazon deal is a win-win-win. So let's go ahead and jump into this because I'm super excited, and the more that I've thought about this, the more that this sort of thing makes sense. Let me explain. The first thing that I want to do is talk about what Rivian will get out of this potential partnership and receiving these investment dollars and minority stake from Amazon and GM. The first thing is, not that they really need it, is a quick infusion of cash. This cash will allow them to accelerate all of the things that they want to do and potentially maybe move up that production date for the R1T and the R1S, which I think is great and very, very positive, especially for people who have reservations. The next thing that I think Rivian will benefit from is this instantaneous street credibility. These billion-dollar companies are investing in, and they now are associated and tied to GM, a very large, reputable, long-standing company. Now, I realize that that's probably very subjective, but by and large, they're a company that has been around a long time. It's really difficult to be around as long as they have. The other thing is the association with Amazon, I think, is probably a better deal for Rivian than it is for Amazon. Maybe, maybe not, but I think that the association with such a successful company like Amazon will benefit them many, many times over. The next thing that I think Rivian will benefit from is the production prowess from GM. GM has been producing cars for many, many decades, and to be able to have that sort of ear of someone as experienced as GM, I think is going to play well for Rivian, especially knowing how challenging it has been for Tesla in their production of their vehicles, and particularly the Model 3. The Model 3 has been an extremely large sore point and bottleneck for Tesla in getting these vehicles out the door. So I think tapping the ear of GM, and who knows, potentially being able to leverage some of those production resources at GM could benefit them and potentially allow them to leapfrog what Tesla is doing on the production side. Better quality fit, better build quality, all around. I think that it's going to be of some significant benefit. The other thing that I think is really interesting is the potential revenue that may come from, number one, licensing deals. Let's say Rivian decides that they want to license out their technology to GM so that GM can put this Rivian skateboard into their vehicles, be it a pickup truck, be it an SUV, or any other vehicles. I think that there could be a potential revenue stream from that, and maybe a large one. I don't know, and I'm not going to hypothesize about that and speculate just because it's not my realm, but I think that there could be a potential there. The other opportunity on the revenue side is Amazon has been ramping up their own fleet of Amazon branded delivery vehicles. In fact, they bought 20,000 vehicles late last year. They upped it from like 3,000 or 4,000 orders to 20,000 because of the overwhelming response from contractors interested in using these Amazon vehicles to deliver packages. So there could be an interesting play there from Amazon's perspective if they really see a value in this keeping the delivery ecosystem within their realm and reach. Perhaps Amazon wants to buy 20, 50,000 of these vehicles over a time period. The fact that it's electric, of course, means that it's low cost and low maintenance, and it means that they can sort of tout the green aspect of buying an electric vehicle, and that, I think, is something that Amazon would be very, very keen on. The last and probably most important benefit that Rivian will get from this partnership with GM and Amazon is just this ongoing working relationship with two massive companies that may likely want to buy Rivian. Now, I think that Amazon is probably the most fitting company to buy Rivian, not only because they just got a ton of cash, but they've got a lot of ambitions, and the company is just a bit more exciting than GM. We'll see here. Maybe in 5 years, if this partnership and agreement ends up going really, really well, Amazon will just take a small drop out of their cash bucket and acquire Rivian and implement them into their Amazon ecosystem. What does GM get out of this deal? Well, they get the association with a badass EV tech company. Rivian has got a phenomenal product, and I've said it many times over that of all the new EV companies, aside from Tesla, I'm most excited about Rivian's product. I've had a chance to look at it and talk with some of the employees, and I think they're the real deal, and I think that they've spent a lot of time working out their technology so that it's ready to rock and roll. And that's why I think that you're seeing this interest from these large companies in Rivian when you haven't seen something like this with, let's say, for example, Faraday Future or Lucid Motors. And maybe I'm wrong there, but I'm not aware of any large American companies tapping the shoulder of any new EV companies aside from Rivian. The next benefit that GM will get from this is just access to Rivian's technology. It is possible that it may be more than just a cash infusion on GM's part to gain a minority stake in the company. It's possible that they might want to take that Rivian technology, take that Rivian skateboard, and implement it into their vehicles. This to me seems like the most logical thing to happen in terms of GM's interest in Rivian. I don't think that they are interested in just acquiring a minority stake to generate revenue and generate profits from a potentially successful company. I think that they're very interested in Rivian's technology, and rightly so, because I don't think that GM really has knocked it out of the park with their EV platform in the Chevy Bolt. I think the sales have been doing great, but I think that they need something more to compete with Tesla, and that is why GM is interested in Rivian. The other interest I think that GM has in Rivian is some competition, something to be able to compete and hopefully beat out Ford's F-Series. The F-Series sold over 1 million units in 2018, and I think that this is something that is very top of mind. They're probably strategizing on how they can topple Ford, and I know that Ford just does not have anything to show for an electric platform. An electric platform is where things are going. So you got to believe that this is something that they're also thinking about. How can we gain or take away market share from Ford, who is doing really, really well? I think that Rivian may be a key to that success. All right, what does Amazon gain from this partnership? Well, as GM, they have the association with a badass technology EV company that I think will benefit them in different ways. I think Amazon could have an interest in buying an automotive company that if it becomes successful, Rivian would be very, very appealing. But I think that where Amazon is initially interested is the appearance of being associated with a green company, an electric vehicle company. I think that in itself is something that their PR team can use to say, hey, we're a green company, we're thinking about the environment, we're investing into electric vehicles. That is probably a first and foremost something that's appealing if nothing ever becomes of this minority stake in Rivian. They at least are showing the public that they're thinking about the environment. The next thing that I think Amazon could benefit from is if this just remains a platonic relationship and they don't decide to acquire Rivian, if they just resolve to buying Rivian vehicles and outfitting them with the Amazon logo, I think that the EV aspect, but more importantly, the autonomous technology that Rivian has and will be integrated into their vehicles is of significant interest. Imagine that any fleet vehicle by Amazon is autonomous, autonomously driving around, dropping off packages to people who have ordered things from their website. This to me is really interesting. In fact, Amazon just recently made a large investment in an autonomous company a few weeks ago. I think the news broke about it. And so I think that they're thinking about the autonomy piece, about vehicles, and the electric plus the autonomy is a really, really smart deal. Lastly, What about this Alexa thing? I think this Alexa thing for the automotive space is going to be a huge, huge deal for consumers. I'll tell you what I mean. As cars become autonomous and as they begin to drive themselves, people are not going to need to pay attention to the road, and the attention will shift to entertainment, to communication, and to listening to music, watching movies. This will be, mark my words, this will be the next frontier for businesses, the in-car experience. It's going to be of interest for companies like Netflix to be able to get access to consumers who will need something to watch in the car. And for Amazon's Alexa, this will be a huge, huge opportunity to attract new developers, to increase their 80+ thousand skills that already exist right now. It will increase the sales of their products that are sold on their website. You can say, hey, Alexa, order me some new detergent, and that washer detergent will be delivered at the house by an autonomous electric Rivian vehicle by the time you get to your actual house. And so I think that there's an Alexa play as well in being able to gain access to consumers while their autonomous vehicle is driving around. So in summary, I think that this is a win-win-win for all three companies. In the event this ends up materializing, I guess there's a chance that it won't. I think there is some good credence to it, and I think that we'll be hearing more about this in the next couple of weeks. And in fact, I think by the end of this month, I think we'll probably see a formal announcement about the minority stake. And, you know, to me, this is, I know in my last video, I said that, you know, one of the disadvantages for Rivian is that they're giving away a competitive advantage. And I think that's interesting. But if you look at it from the context of Rivian, they're a new EV startup. They've got a promising technology. And at the same time, there's this other electric vehicle company called Tesla. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are starting to build momentum with their production and rolling out new vehicles, and a cash infusion by some incredibly influential companies could potentially allow Rivian to leapfrog Tesla in the automotive EV space. So I think the resources, I think the cash, I think the just the brand exposure to be associated with Amazon and GM, I think will fare Rivian extremely well. And I think this could be a pure genius strategy. Long term, let's say 5-10 years down the road, for me, I think it makes a lot of sense for Amazon to buy Rivian, especially knowing all the things that Amazon is doing. To me, buying an automotive company, an electric automotive company for that matter, would be a significant addition to their massive reach. So you heard it here first. I'd love to hear your comments down below. What are your thoughts on this? Do you see any reward or risk in Rivian going forward with accepting this capital from Amazon and GM? Sound off in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And if you're a regular, hit that like button and share this video out as well. I'm starting to see more people share these videos out on Twitter and Reddit. So if you liked it, found it valuable, and think other people might like it as well, give it a share too. I'll see everyone on the next video.